All right, young scholars. Today we are going to show you how to import Excel info from an Excel worksheet into an Access database. Then we're going to go through Access Homework 1 together, which is due on Sunday. And then I'm going to have you start on Access Homework 2, and you have time probably before class ends to work on that and ask me questions as you need to, but for the most part, I want you guys to work. So, Johnny, what's due upcoming for everyone? The group project is due next Sunday, and these two assignments in the assignment bucket today are due this Sunday. So what's next Thursday? Austin, what's next Thursday? You have no idea? You didn't realize that next Monday and Tuesday are the only days next week you have class? Still don't know what it is. What's the only holiday that falls on a Thursday every year? Yes. So kind of keep that in mind, because I know there's only a couple of you that mentioned living not in New Jersey, but a group assignment is due next Sunday. So if you're all piecing out after class on Monday, I don't know if that means you want to spend this week finishing it, or Riley doesn't want to be sitting in Pittsburgh hanging out with her family. And who's in your group? And you guys are slacking, and she's going to be calling you every 5 minutes or shooting texts off in the group chat. Right, Paul? Yeah. Who's in your group? Yet I was just told you made this group 2 weeks ago. You forgot?
Yeah, well, yeah, no, I'm gonna make a group.
Oh, you just have the numbers. It's one and done for you, right? One group project, that's all you need from them. All done, right? All right, young scholars, let's open Access. Create a blank database from scratch. And then you have this file here in today's folder that says Excel file for database. Just click that to download it. And you'll see it's just an Excel worksheet with a bunch of random textbook info in. You have the ISBN number, title, author, publisher, publication year, Dewey Decimal number, the type of binding, the content level, its cost, the slip date. So how do we put this into an Access database, Paul? What? The thing on the corner by the one. This
The one,
thing above that. This? If you wanted to copy it, you could do that. We want to import it. So what do we do? Insert in Excel. Not. Because I didn't teach you it right. I didn't teach it yet. You go into your Access database, click the External Data tab, where it says New Data Source. From File. Now, Paul, redeem yourself. Very good. Because it's not an HTML document. It's not an XML file. It's not a text file. You'll find out what those are if you take me for 3730 next. So let's browse and find our file. Assuming it's a download. Okay. To make sure it has where your file is now. Same there. Do I have to do anything else? Does this do it? Austin, am I done? I have to hit OK. Now what? You don't know? That's okay. I don't think anybody knows. See how it lists 3 worksheets, right? What was the name of the worksheet that we actually had open here? What's it called, Paul? Results. So that's the only one we want to select from over. Then what do we hit, Austin? Next. Then what do we hit, Austin? Next. Then what do we hit, Austin? Then what do we hit, Austin? Then what do we hit, Austin? So you notice right now we only have table 1, which is our fake table. We don't have anything in right now that's open. It basically just says new the ID. What do you think is going to happen when you hit finish? Beeves, what happens when you hit finish? A new table called results pops up. See? What happened when I open that? Does it have the data in it? Wow. It's got all that information from the Excel file in it. Oh, my lantern. Who remembers from last week how we make the columns bigger in Access? So that we can actually see our ISBNs for the. Anybody remember? Gabby? Right click and change the field width. Everybody sees that? Right click, select field width. And best fit. And no more hashtags. Any of the other ones, like, oh, this fits good. JJ, question? You're behind? Where? One. Get to this one. Sure it says. Has a check next to first row contains column headings. So this way, topics. Okay. Doesn't want to do that. You have the same thing? It says field one, field two, instead of the actual. What's to say? If it's- Paul, you had this issue too?
Yeah.
I think some of you have like a first row on the Excel file for some reason. And if you delete that, to delete the first row in the Excel file and then do what I just did. Select results. Then make sure there's a check next to first row contains column headings. Should be good. Save the Excel file and redo what we did, importing it into Access. That worked for two youngs. Nobody else had that issue? Everybody else came up like mine? Everybody else had the E+12 or whatever? You did? You heard what I said? Go into your Excel file and delete row A, save it, and then re-import it into Access. And when you auto-fit column with the ISBN, it should look like so. Everybody else good? Bree, good? We're good? All right, we're gonna do 3 queries with these. Jackie, remind everybody what a query is. Yeah, what does it do? Yeah. It's an answer to a question. All set, Reeves? Yes? So the first query we're gonna do is to find out our binding type. Mike, what are the different binding types you see here? No, the types of bindings, binding column. That's it? Okay. So what if I want to make a query? Only show me the books that have paper bindings. What do I do? Leo, what do I do? Go to create design. I have to use the results table because that's where our info is. I want to show all the books that are paper binding. So what do I do? Just binding? That's just going to tell us the binding. What do we need first? We want to show all the books that are paper binding. How do we identify a book? Title. And binding, right? But what do we need to put in for binding since we only want the papers? Get the papers, get the paper. What do we have to do? Sort? Criteria? What do we put in criteria? We want only paper to show up, not any of the cloth. Just type in the word paper in quotes. What happens when I run it, Jackie? $23 results come up? Do they all say paper? What do I have to do now? What do I have to do now? There's 2 things we have to do before we're finished. Which heading? The title one's too small. Gotta make that best fit so we actually see names of our books. I could see Austin taking this one. Saw that nice long title and he's like, yeah, I like social media. I like videos. I like mobile apps. What? I knew you'd like it. Is that your field, marketing? Why are you undecided? Why not? What are you thinking about? What do you want to do with your life? Something business related. Well, there's management, there's marketing, there's accounting, there's finance. Depending on who you talk to, economics, there's sports management here. There's international business. You're just looking to chill with your frat buddies. Maybe marketing. Who's in marketing and can sway him? Have you a marketing major? Reeves, are you a marketing major? Is your major? Sports management? Do you get to hang out with Bob Lee once a year? Are you a first semester person here?
Yeah.
So Bob Lee was on Sports Center for like years. He went to college here. And now he just kind of hangs out here because he retired. Every like April, they have him and some random sports player show up and talk to you guys for like 2 hours. So last April, earlier this year, it was him, A-Rod, and the guy nobody ever. Okay, so now we fix the size of our column. So everything fits. What's the last thing we gotta do now, Jackie? Save it. Very good. Save it. What do we want to call it, Paul? Okay. The right click we want, save, paper binding. Now it's changed this paper binding, shows us our query off to the side. Okay, Reeves, you're gonna do the next one. We want to show all of the books that were published in 2016. Create. Create design. Need our results table. Middle. Have a date. Pub year, publication year. And we just want the ones from 2016. So what do I do? Everybody heard that? 2016 goes in the criteria box. If we wanted to do or 2015, Johnny, what would we do? Yep. If we wanted to do and. Now. Just type the word and in between. What happened when I run this, Sam? It says data type mismatch. Oh, take the quotes out there. And it runs. Probably only like strings inside of there. What happens when you run? How many? 8? Yeah. So what are the two things we have to do before? Yep. What do we want to call this, Sam? For me. 2016 pub year. Unlike the pubs that Austin loves, right? Different pubs. See what book you would like in this. Probably millennials who manage, right? You look like like your manager of your group, right? Who's in your group again? Isn't there a fifth? Oh, Drew too. And you're in charge of your group, right? No? Took charge. Johnny? Haven't coordinated. Well, keep in mind that what I mentioned, most people, are gonna bounce after my class next week. Keep that in mind. One more. What's the take? Riley, we're gonna do a query that shows us all of the books that are less than 58 bucks. How do we do that? Create design. Need our results table. Title. All the books that are less than 58 bucks. US list for the US list price. Okay? Less than simple. 58. And how many results do I get? Two? 22? Is that what everybody got? Ellie, you got 22? Chris, you got 22? Unfortunate Drew, how many did you get? 22? So what three things do we need to do before we close this one out? Gabby? Because we haven't done the third one, bless you. Bless you, for the other two yet. So we best fit our book title. What should we do with our list of monies here, Jackie? Yeah, let's sort them. Big question. Under US list. There's 42 in the entire database table. Got all of them? Got it? Oh, and how do we want to sort these? Descending? Paul, what does descending mean? What's the top listing gonna be? The largest? That looks like the largest number, right? What? We did descending, because that's what Paul wanted. So the largest one is 54.99. That's under 58 bucks. did less than 58. Your criteria for your US list should be less than 50. But less than 50.
Go there, I just, guest list, and
Ellie, good? Got 22. Good. Everybody but Malik got 22 results, right? Mike, what did you get? Why not? So you got the simple stuff. What are you gonna do on the exam? Other than ask Owen for help? Just need the title field, US list field. Criteria less than 58, US list. Still got more than 22 results? Do this one. Riley, what do we name this? Less than $58? Oh, just less than 50. Because when you import it, it doesn't auto assign it, like, obviously to us, we're looking at it, it's currently. But Excel didn't tell Access that. Mike, you good? Is he really good, Owen, or is he just telling you he's good? Unfortunate Drew, do you want to do one more? Why not? You got a hot date? All right, do one more then. Pick something, pick one of these columns. Yeah, pick a column. Like ID, ISBN, title, author. Author, okay. What do we want to do with an author? Okay? How do we do it? Okay? 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 M and then the wildcard operator. This way, anything after M is a result. How many did we get, Austin? 4? Is that what everybody got? Gabby? Fortunate Drew only wanted the author. 3, did you get 4 results? What did you get? while since somebody's been there. Maybe that's where you could work, Austin. Merrill. Sure they have a marketing department. I have no clue what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna step on unfortunate Drew's toes for 2 seconds here. On the exam, you're gonna have to find all of the majors that start with MA. So how would I change this if I wanted MA instead of just M? Abby? Yep. So we would just change this from M wildcard operator to MA wildcard operator. And then how many results do I have? Two. Just Mark and Matthew, right? I will put it back to the way unfortunate Drew wants it. Just the first names with them. Okay. We want to auto fit this? So we know all the authors? Johnny, what do you think? Sure, okay. So again, right click, field width, bless you. Then best fit. And unfortunate Drew, what do we want to call this? Author M? So now we've seen that you can import stuff in from Excel and query it the same as you would if you just made up the stuff yourself, right, Paul? Drew, does this make sense? Fairly straightforward, right? So go ahead and close out your table one. That's gone and is no longer in our database because we don't need it. And when can you use this again, Paul? When might this help you? On the exam. For notes, so you get to use all this stuff as you need to. So you can close out your database, click yes and okay to all the errors. Close out your Excel worksheet. And what are we doing now, Jackie? Okay. So in the assignments folder here, in today's content folder, you have two homeworks that are due Sunday. At what time, Allie? 11:59, same as always. This way Austin could go out and party and still have it done. So we're gonna go through Access Homework 1 together. Most of this week, last week. Then Access Homework 2. I'm gonna set you up on how to do and then kind of do it and ask me questions as you need to. So what do we do, Paul? For Homework 1. First, we gotta download our sports apparel file. We got Drew's wearing sports apparel. Beeves. What's your shirt say, Molly? Is that a sports brand? Is it design? Quinn's got one on. What's on your shirt, Mike? They're the same as Austin's? Why aren't you in Austin's? What? I think he's older than you. You're a sophomore, right? Oh. Well, he still might be older than you. What year were you born? What month? See? Told you he was older than you. Doesn't he look a little older than you? Yeah. There's a bunch of people laughing. Austin. I think you went a little too far with that. We don't know if you're wiser. We'll find out at the Access exam. Owen, what do you think? You're gonna have to decide with Mike. Do you think Mike's wiser? Johnny, what do you think? You'll go with Austin? Riley, what do you think? You gotta go with Mike? That's because Austin wasn't gonna pay those women back. What about you, Drew? Who's smarter? You'll go with Austin? You gotta hope he's smarter, right? Because he's in your group. Raj, who's smarter? You seem like you're a good judge of character. What? Mike's in your group, so you're siding with Mike? Bree, are you in either of their groups? Who's smarter? No? The older one? I guess I'm the wisest one in this room then. All right, so we've opened our sports apparel database after finding out that Austin is apparently wiser than Mike. Although it's a split debate, kind of like in the Georgia Senate races every 2 years. Might have to go to a runoff. They should wrestle for it. I don't know if either of them know how to wrestle. What? They're done a bit of jitsu? What kind of jitsu? Oh, jujitsu. What about you, Mike? Just go to the gym? So you don't know how to fight or wrestle? Huh. Where'd you grow up? Where? You didn't have to fight? Staten Island. Where'd you go? You didn't have to fight in Mattawan? I grew up in Old Bridge. Now I can't trust you. Right, so everybody's got their sports apparel database open, right? If you've got this little security warning, just click the X and ignore it. So we have our sports apparel retailers table with a company name, its street address, its city, its state, zip code, phone, the first order date and the last order date, the number of orders and the total sales it's at. So this one here in San Jose made over $1 million. And of course, our resident California is sick today, not here. Can't tell me if this one is real. A1 sports fan. Let's see if there's any from Pittsburgh. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, I'm not going through. It's 2000. You guys kind of get the point. And then states table has 5 states. What's tax rate mean? What's tax rate? What's our tax rate here? Owen? What? Don't know? You're not from New Jersey? How do you not know what the tax rate in New Jersey is? 7 cents, right? You didn't know that before today? No? You guys like go to the supermarket and shop or anything? Yeah. Just look at the final price. You don't look at that second column that says taxes? That, adds on to that price and makes the final price? Drew, is this information true? Is there only a 1 cent tax in Alaska? No? Know that for a fact? Don't make assumptions. What's the first three letters of assumption? You've never heard that saying, Drew? So I don't know if these are accurate or not. I highly doubt that California's tax rate is only 4 cents. I think last I heard it was 13. Sophia, what's the tax rate in California? 13 cents? Guess she's not listening. Okay, we have 4 queries we want to do. So, how do we do this? Hasn't gone. Mike, you take this one. Do number 1. Tell us how to do this. Create one query that will display the total sales of all companies located in Hawaii and the total sales of all companies located in Oregon. In addition to total sales, show the smallest and largest sale in each state. Call the query homework 7A-1. First, we go to create, query design, sports apparel retailers. It doesn't matter about company name. We could just do state first. Then what? How many times? Just twice? How many times? 3 times? Is that what you're guessing or you're telling me? Is it a guess or you are confident? Why? So that makes sense to everybody? We need it 3 times because we need sum, max, and min. How many is that, Austin? 3. So now what? How do I get those sum, min, and maxes? Abby? Total sales 3 times. We need it for our sum, max, and our min. We click this auto sum sign that says totals underneath. So we get our totals row, which is how we get our sum, min, and max. Why? dark in color. You have something inside your field selected? Click inside this area here where it has field. And it should work. No? Okay, click out of that query and start a new one and quickly go through. Anybody else have that issue where the totals row wouldn't for some reason? Heard what I said? Just click out of it and start a new query. See that work? It's still not working for you? Okay, hear that, Riley? Make it the first thing you click instead of adding state first. Good? All right, Mike. Continue. Where? Both of them in criteria? So which one you want to do? Okay? Hawaii or Oregon are state criteria. Now what? Yep. So instead of group by, sum in act. We do that because that's what we're told to do. Display the total sales of all companies located in Hawaii and the total sales of all companies located in Oregon. That's what the sum gives us. In addition, the total sales show the smallest in and largest tax in each state. That's why we have to use the criteria for those two. Because we only care about those two states right now. So how many results do I have when I run this? 2? What do you got? Paul, you got 2? No, what'd you get? There's only 5 states. Have your criteria in for the states? Hawaii or Oregon? Three, good. You got 2? Should be 2 rows with 4 columns, right? What should I do to all 4 columns? Austin? Want to be thought of as wiser than Mike, you gotta have the right answer. Every time I call on you. Every single time. This ain't like baseball. Baseball, you're about 300, you get in the Hall of Fame. Here you want about 1,000. That way you get in my Hall of Fame. Yeah, what do we do with the 4? See how they're all kind of smashed together? Like, what's a stat? That's not a stat, it's a state. Very good. Auto fit the column widths for all four of these so that you can actually see what the heck they are. So you know if you did it right. So now we know it's state, not stat. We know it's sum of total sales, min of total sales, max of total sales. What does it tell us to name this? Reeves? Okay. Homework 7A-1. Apparently, this was once called homework 7A. Years ago. So now you've done 1/4 of homework 1. Now I'm actually going to put the two of you again. Austin, you're going to do query number 2. It says create a query that will display the number of companies located in each zip code. Display the zip code and the number of companies. Sort by zip code. All right, Austin. Lead the way. Create. Okay. What? We have to pick a table first. Let's start there. What has zip code and company names in it? States or sports apparel retailers? Okay. Now what? Okay. One other thing we need. I'll give you zip code somewhere. Yeah. Pretty good. Now what? Why do we have to sort it? Last thing we do is sort it. We have to display the zip code and the number of companies. All we're doing now is displaying zip code and company. We're not showing the number of companies in the zip code. Once the zip code and the count to count how many number of companies are in each zip code. No. Mike, you want to help him out? Yeah, we're not even close to done. What's the other common thing we've done that isn't criteria? Totals row. which now Gabby jinxed us. It disappeared on me. And the group buy for company names becomes what, Mike? The group buy for company name becomes what, Mike? You're trying to prove you're smarter than Austin. I make this entire class a company. Everybody's now competing with Bree for the highest grade in the class. As they've been basically 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We're trying to count. What thing is gonna help us to count? Count. Very good. So instead of sum, average, min, and max like we've used before, this time we're counting. Austin, count how many people are in the room right now. Give us an answer. $27, including me. We know he can count. Now, Austin, what's the last thing I need to do? Which one? In sort, what do we want to do? Start at the lowest zip code or the largest zip code? I know, I'm asking you to pick. Okay? Go from lowest to highest. What happens when we run this, Paul? Company name's not supposed to come up. That's what our count does. Our count, so for one zip code, it might be 3 companies. Another, it might be 18. Should have the zip code and then a number next to it for the company name. Because that's what the count does. Remember the homework for Excel? Count if Yankees, how many Yankee games were won? There was 7. Same setup here, but this is how Access does. See? 5, 1, 3, 11. So what does this tell us, Reeves? Yeah, how many companies there are in each zip code. So there's 722 different zip codes. Some of them have more than one, but because there's 722, that tells us all of them have at least one company there, right? Make sense? Gabby, you good? Bree, good? Ethan, good? Suraj, good? Just scratching? Okay, Austin, what does it tell us to name this one? Yep. Why, you thought I'm trying to confuse you, Reeves? Just do what the words tell you. Ain't about anything else. Unless I tell you to do different. Three. You do query 3. What do you know? Well, that's right. Unfortunate Drew was the first person ever who got 100 on the exam. Hey, well, second best is okay, I guess. Okay. So high expectations now get pushed off on unfortunate Drew. So query 3 says, create a query that will display the average number of orders for each city within each state. Display the state, city, and average number of orders. Okay? So far, so good. Okay? Okay? Oh, the Gabby Jinx is off, thank God. How do I get average? We had our totals row. For which one? For number of orders, instead of group by, we do AVG average. Is that it? Create a query that will display the average number of orders for each city within each state. Display the state, city, and average number of orders. Is that it? Jackie, is that it? Who agrees with Breathe that that's it? Half of you still don't raise your. When I raise my hand, that that's it, yeah, that's it. Okay, what do we do now? Let's make our stat in a state. Let's make our average number best fit to get it visible. But what is with this? It doesn't matter. Only matters because I had it set up to the ascending sort in city. What do we do now, Bree? We have too many decimals. There's too many 666s there for my. I didn't show you property sheet yet. So go back into design view. Click on number of orders. And off to the side here, it should say property sheet. Let's change our format to standard. And our decimal places to 2. When you click the X out of that and run, what happens, Paul? Does it change it to 2 decimals? You sure?
Yeah, team.
What? Format should be standard and decimal places should be 2. And ideally, it gets rid of all but 2 of the decimal places. Did it work? Mike, did it work? So now our 6666666 becomes 667. Format. It should be standard. Decimal places 2. Have this? You have to click inside the field, number of orders, because we're only doing it to that one. Okay, everybody good? Yes, no, maybe so? Sam, question? Doesn't apply? You clicked here for number of orders? So you only get this property sheet, not the big one?
Yeah.
Austin? Okay. So do Control Alt Delete and just completely bomb it out. And I guess catch up as needed. You've only done 3 of the 4, but the lecture's recorded, so you can go back and watch. What do you mean? No, just do Control Alt Delete and the test manager will come up. And just select access and click end task. Well, unfortunate Drew, since he's the best in the class, can catch you up. What is this supposed to be called, Bree? Homework 7A-3. %75 done. What does that mean, Austin? Drew, you want to do the last one? You have to do the same thing. Didn't I mention this like 2 weeks ago? This is why people who know what they're doing use SQL. Access constantly freezes. Yeah, that was Halloween, right? Where I went through those 3 or 4 PowerPoints. Okay. Who's not freezing? JJ, you love Access, right? You've actually seen it before this class? You do the easy quiz, or the easy query. Create a query that will display the total number of orders for all of the companies. Okay? Okay? What? Company name and total sales. Why? Create a query that will display the total number of orders for all of the companies. So we just need one number. Sum of what? Where's total orders? Do I have something that says total orders here? Total sales? There's something with orders in it that we should use. Number of orders. Then what? Totals row? And then what? Sum. We just need one number. How many, do all of these have, sales wise? How many orders? Just add them up. That's all we need. What's the answer, Jackie? Just read the numbers. Don't worry about the decimal. Okay. Is that what you got, Weston? Okay. Mike, you got that? Other Mike, you got that? Abby, good? What? You click run? You didn't get this? When you change the width? Okay. That's fine. Who did this one? JJ, what's it called? Homework 7A-4. Now what happens, Ally? Save it in what? Now what? Okay. What? We've been saving the queries as we go. Save the database, and then what? If you want, yeah. So this is homework 1, so save your database. And if you think you're done and want to submit it, just click Access Homework 1 and submit it. The database, submit the database, the Access file. But if it gives you some kind of weird error, like it's a virus or something on Blackboard, go back and right click New file and do send to compress zip folder. Then to compress zip folder, and then just upload the zip folder. Because I know in emails, it always yells at people and like claims that it's a virus if you send, like if you were to try and send the homework late, it would tell me that your database is a virus. But make sure that it's .ACCDB and there's no S in front of it. And S means you still have it open, and L in front of it means it's still locked. So make sure it's closed out before you try to submit it. Good? Okay, so now we're gonna start you on Access Homework 2, but it'll be up to you to finish it by Sunday night. Okay, so in this instance, I'm asking you to create a new blank database using information from Young Scholars of Yesteryear, which is right below it and says table to use for second homework. You have, I think, 33 former Young Scholars listed. You may or may not know. Austin probably knows all the females, right, Austin? Every last one. You knew Maggie, who transferred 2 years ago. You knew Noelle, who graduated. You knew Amber. Ariana, I think, graduated too. What?
I know.
Oh,
Brendan Brown.
oh yeah?
Yeah, he's in-
Tell him Matty Ice says hi.
all right.
They'll be like, oh, you got Marina. Who else would Austin probably have hit on? You've hit on John Coster? Oh, okay. Nicole, did you know her? How about Chloe? Isabella, I think, graduated too. What about Lucia? Do you know her? Oh, Drew's probably getting a little worried there. I used to call Danny C champion. He always came in with champion shirts on. So Drew's getting a little worried there. All right, so in design view, create a table using the following information. What does that mean, Johnny? We're creating our own database from scratch. We got to create a table. What's it say to name the table, Johnny? Okay. So change it from table 1 to student list. I think it said it wants us in design view, right? Change view from data sheet to design view. Okay. So student lists, and then we jump into design view. So now we gotta put our fields in. It says to set the student number field as the primary key. Question? Just got a question. Let's just change ID to student. Is it just student number, Johnny? So this way it's already set up as our primary key and we don't have to do it. Data type short text, field size 5. Instead of auto number, make it short text. And down here where it says field size, for our property sheet, change it from 255 to 5. Reeves, can you see?
Yeah.
You can see through my fat, what?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, so what is your question?
You got-
Oh, when you go into data type, change it from auto number to short text. The property sheet below should pop up. If not, see this button here that says property sheet? Click on that.
Get a new-
Yeah, we're creating a new database with this student list tabling. Some stuff. So again, field size goes from 255 to 5. Drew, you're back in business? It stopped freezing? Well, it is cold out, so maybe that's why. Okay, what's next, Johnny? We're going through the fields. Nothing there, right? Don't have to worry. Okay, so on to the next field name. Last name. And short text, right? Okay, and what's it say in the other columns? Default, okay, so just leave everything as is. All right, what's the next field name? First name, short text, I assume, right? And then what? Default again, so leave everything as is. What's the next field name? Address, okay? Short text, then default. Okay, anything in the other column? No, okay, what's next? City, okay. Short text, I assume? Default again? Okay, what's next? State, short text. Okay, so field size, we changed from 255 to 2. Just to get our state abbreviations, and then what? So for uppercase, to set it as uppercase, we use what's called input mask. So put inside input mask, uppercase inside of quotes. So field size is 2. Input mask is uppercase. What was the last thing, Johnny? Okay. So below that, where it has default value here, NJ. Make sure they're uppercase, so it goes along with our rule. So for state, field size is 2. Input mask is uppercase. Default value is NJ. good. JJ, good. Suraj, good. Will, good. All right, what's next, Johnny? Zip code, okay. Short text. Okay. So again, we changed the 255 to 5. That's it. Balance. Burns. Okay. Fault is 4. The balance currency, leave everything in the property sheet the same. All right, what's the next one? First term attended. Short text. And then field size changes from 255 to 4. So for input mask, uppercase. So why do you think first term attended is only 4? Austin, take a guess, redeem yourself. What was the first term you attended Seton Hall? Yeah, when did you start here? Last fall? So fall 2021, you became a Seton Hall Pirate. How would I turn that into 4? Fall 2021. How does that turn into 4? What do I take? What? Couldn't even tell me. Yes. I'm trying to see if I actually had it in the instructions. Yes, see? The first term attended, type SP hashtag for someone who started in the spring. NFA hashtag for someone who started in the fall. While changing the hashtag to the last 2 numbers of the year they first attended. So for you, it would be FA 21. Mike, when did you start? Same? Fall 20 last year? When did you start? Paul, when did you start? Jackie? Oh, I have Mark on the soccer team in my other class, and he was bragging about that leadership thing he did, and your name was on there. What is that? Great minds. And you popped up. Currently, Jackie is involved in several groups such as Flash Dance Troupe, and Blue Crew. Are you still involved with any of them? So if we need anybody to break up the monotony of my boring lectures, we can have you dance? Can you break dance? No? Extra credit for Austin if anybody can break dance. Okay, so we've got our design all set up. hopefully. So now we jump back into data sheet view. And you are tasked with adding data from 10 of your classmates, which is just the stuff below. So you're gonna kind of make up their first term attended. You're gonna make up their balance, which is how much they owe the university. And what else? You can make up their address, city, state, and zip code. So basically, their only info you're taking from that table is first and last name. Rest of it you'll use on the exam, but that doesn't help you now. So take any 10 of these young scholars who are now old scholars. Yes. So that's any 5 random numbers. So student ID you make up, address, city, state, zip code you make up, balance you make up. First term attended, I'm gonna assume all of them probably around fall 2019, like Jackie. You don't know any of them? Who do you know? Cole Ojeda? Okay, she always sat next to Chloe and never spoke. Who else? That's it? Gabby? Former? He already said that. JC, right? John Coster? Paul? 5. Any 5 random numbers, so let's say Austin doesn't like John Coster, he could just make like 66600. Um. What? This is in Blackboard. You just changed back to this, data sheet view. And it doesn't look like this? Yeah, save your table first. Why? So what a lot of people just do is copy, the Seton Hall address for all of them. That seems to be the easiest thing to do, but that's up to you. The ballot, well, the only thing you're being given is last name first. String label. I don't see anything wrong. Yeah, you're kind of. I think that's gonna work. It's not letting you type anything where. Letting you type anything. Okay then. Get rid of the uppercase. See if it lets you type it. Get rid of the uppercase in the input mask for first term attended. If you can't type anything. No, student numbers should be any 5 random numbers. Any 5 random numbers. So I just did 1,000, 15,000, 30,000, 35,000, 1,000, 5,000, etc. See how all the balances are just kind of made up and. Well, technically, I know there. You guys can just make. Okay, so. After you do all that, I say modify the column widths to appropriately fit each field. Which is just doing the column. Done with that. While still typing in. That's okay. You could leave it. It's not gonna. Then type in any random 5 numbers. And then click on the side. Like right here. And just right click. And it should say delete record. Hopefully that works. What's the matter? Oh, data sheet here. Just right click. Should say save. Yep. Okay, so what you're doing is using that table to put last and first name. Basically just make up.
So do I.
10 people from the list here. But you could stay in that view as you go through. Just 10. What did you put, all 33? You just do 10 of them. Right click on the side, do delete record. Stop adding. It's supposed to, when you do 10 of them. You mean this like 11th row? That's just called the append row. If you have more than one, then that's an issue. But if you want to get rid of it, just click over here. Should let you delete record. If not, just leave it there. I don't care. It's not gonna harm you. Balance you make up too, yep. So I decided that Lucia owns a lot of money to the university. Coster owns $5, Austin, tell him. So Brendan didn't graduate yet? No? Mike, who's in your sorority that I've had before? You know what I meant. This giant list? Kellen? I think he was the one from like Idaho or somewhere out west. No? Maybe he sat next to one of the kids from out west. Cole, I think he was like from Montana or something. So he's the only one on the list you've seen? Gabby probably knows everybody on this list, right? No? Who? You know Danny Champion? You know him? Yeah. I did that for everyone. So everybody seems to know Brennan? What talkative, right? Does he still talk a lot? He wrote on my Rate My Professors that Matty Ice is a legend. And then told me about it. So who's finished with their 10 people? Sam? So next, it says to create a form using the form wizard based on the student list table using the following info. Use all fields, layout, columnar, and form name student form. You done that before? Did it right now? Who else is that far? Okay, go back into the design view and where it says uppercase, delete that. Then save it and go back. I don't know why all of a sudden today that is an issue. You have to make sure you click student list table first. And create form. What does the instructions say? Okay, so then create it using the form wizard. Form wizard, and then what's it say? So click the double caret to get all of the fields over. And then what's it say? Okay, so once you put all the fields in, you get this. The columnar is already selected. Okay? So then when you click next, change this from student list to student form. And then it should open the form so you could check it and see if it's right. And it'll look like that with your 10 or 11 records, depending on. Yeah, it should be FA like 19, SP 21. Good. Now you're on to report. It should look like this, but with actual stuff in it. With the 10 or 11 records. Okay. And your form is fine?
Oh, no, no.
Oh, okay. Report wizard. So you want to click on the table again, make sure it's highlighted. Create, where's report wizard? Report wizard, and what's it tell you to do? Okay, double carrots. Moves everything over. Click on standard. Click the single caret. Thing is grouped by it. And then what? Okay. It should be. Yeah. So layout stepped, orientation doesn't say. Okay. To change that from portrait to landscape. And anything else? Okay. So where it says student list on the next one, change it to student report. That's it for the report. Okay. So it'll look like that with all your information listed below. And then for state, I guess zip code and balance, you'd have to change the column width so that they fit. Right click student report and go into design, yeah, design view, hopefully. And you'll see you get like these boxes. You basically have to like play around with them. Like drag them over a little and stretch them so they all fit. Does that make sense? So you might pull this one over here and then pull it there. What? This is design view. No, just the last couple that were all. This is the student report. We're just making everything wider so the columns actually show up and we know what we're seeing. So see now how for state, zip code and balance on mine actually shows the whole word. So you have to go through and do that for all of the ones that don't show up. No, student report. The report, you name student report. It's the tape. We already created a form and now this is a report. This is number 5. You only did up to 3, so. So do your form first. And then you'll join us. Go to create, click the button that says form wizard. The instructions. That's what we're doing right now. So see how it just says ST for state, first term attendant. So you go into design view, kind of play around with these. This way they all show up. Basically, this is kind of all. Kind of I warned you guys. Probably start on this. good, except now it's after the report, then there's two queries. Let's go through them quick right now. Okay. Yeah. Right. Next. And, yep, change the name. What does it say? Student what? Student. Title of the report, student report. Okay? But then you have to go into, see how, like, STA instead of state and zip C instead of balance. Do you have to like go into the design view? Kind of play around with these, move these titles around, so it fits the whole name? Yep. And the student number, you make up just five, any random number. Yep,
I made my report, and
okay,
for some reason, half of it is.
Fine.
I'm not sure. Like, you know,
it is missing.
that makes,
1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. You
but
got
like, the
10.
terms are missing. Oh, wait,
They're grouped by how many people are in each term.
so
So
confused.
2 in that, 1 in that.
And then like, I tried to
4
like
in that.
space this out, but if you, then the student ID number is nowhere near the like actual student ID number or the last name, and then it just jumbled it all. Cause I tried to do it, and I like completely just, like, made it all. The, really sucks.
Got your friend sick?
Me,
Since last week's class? Oh, you were sick last. week.
I think I had something.
Start with those. Good luck. Your last name is kind of. First term attended needs
And for balance, then
too small. Have to make
balance.
balance bigger. Can you try this?
I feel like this helps.
So try and keep playing around with
And then
balance.
is there, do you think there is a way to do?
Should be,
Because
yeah.
I don't know.
Assuming the numbers are wider, better.
Do you think if I move the back?
All right. Simple query response. Which one?
I
What do
wanna
you
say
think?
6. Yeah, 6.
First one here, query one.
Yeah.
To change it to. FA now.
SP.
Uh, Yep. Got an extra- So just get rid of the input and ask for it. Should work. Try them.
And it's like first.
No, for fall it's FA, for spring it's SP, and the last two of the year, like 2019, 19, 21, 21. It's to pay the 5 cheapest. I'm actually gonna go through this. Um, have it there. So hang tight, like 30 seconds. I'm gonna go through them right after I answer Bree's question.
My question, I everything today,
Okay,
I don't know where to go.
save it, right click
I see.
where it says student report,
Yeah, I see.
and then click again.
Sure.
Yep. Switch back to I want to drag this out of it. Back to that view you were just in.
Oh,
Behind you.
design. Drag this from. I have to drag this to.
If you pull that, I'm pretty sure it changes the. Okay,
And that's it?
yep. And then do that same thing. Save it and go back into the report view to check.
Okay.
All right, so for query number 1, you're asked to determine who the older young scholars are in the class. So in your criteria, you're going to want to use less than SP 19, less than FA 19. But it's going to give you FA 19s. Why? Why? Riley? Yep. And it'll give you whoever the people are for that query that started before you run that. So just name whether it's their full last and first. And then for first term attended, you use that criteria. Now, if you have nobody who started before fall 19, Mike, what's gonna happen? There's gonna be no results. What's your question? So have for criteria greater than FA 19, and then for or greater than SP 19. Or is that backwards? Less than. Okay, and then, query 2, we are asked, a famous person wants to pay off the balance for 5 students, but is rather cheap. Create a query that produces the data for the 5 students with the lowest balances. Okay. So you would do last name, first name, balance. And then for this section that says return, you would just have 5 there. That makes sense? Right below delete columns and next to builder. After you click where it says balance in the fields, it should have a return. Select 5 from the list. And make sure you have sort ascending. So it gives you the 5 cheapest. Austin? Balance at the bottom doesn't pop up, it just. What do you mean add up? This is just the 5 lowest balances you have out of the 10. Because that person that's gonna pay the balances off is cheap. I just named them query 1 and query 2. Does it say to name them anything specific? Well, you could name it, I don't know, old scholars and cheap famous guy, cheap famous girl, whatever you want to name it. Now, for that one, it's gonna be less than FA 19, and then in the or, less than SP 19. It didn't work for you. Why? I do too. It didn't work? The heck? Okay, then. What? We're moving on from that, Gabby. Putting your criteria all the way going down anything that was before fall 19. So SP 18, SP 17, FA 17, anything you've put in. And just keep going down, criteria or, however many you have. Does that work? No? How? When you did this, just put them in criteria. FA 18 and then or, without the, no greater signs, just whatever they are. So like A 18, SP 18, FA 17, etc. Okay. The signs are, not helping. They're hurting us.
Wait, so spring,
Does it say before fall 19, right? Prior to spring 2019, so they shouldn't be there. So no SP 19. Waves, what? That didn't start before then?
Yeah.
So then when you run your query, nobody should come up. And anything before that, you have it. If you don't have anything before spring 2019, your query is gonna have no records in it. Unfortunate, Drew. What's wrong with query 1? This query? So in your criteria, just put any of the things you have before spring 2019. So FA 18, SP 18, FA 17, SP 17.
SP 9.
No, it says before spring 2019. Prior to spring 2019. What? It says, so produce a query to give the info for the students who started at SHU prior to spring 2019. So fall 2018, spring 2018, fall 2017, spring 2017, all good. But like that criteria. And then when you run it, you'll get no results. But yeah, it doesn't really matter. It shouldn't. And then the second one, remember when you have balance, return 5, the 5 cheapest. Make sure it's in ascending order, because if it's in descending order, it'll give you the 5 most expensive. 3. One goes in criteria, the other goes in or. And how many ors down you need to go depends on how many people you put in. So you may have one from fall 2018, one from spring 2018, and might actually need 6 of them. Kept going backward. Right, Austin? All right, it's 4:27, so I'll leave it there. Like I said, fix up this second homework, submit it by Sunday night, and we should all be good to go.